Everybody, my name is Kevin Diaz, and the film that I'm going to be critiquing today is called The Untouchables. This is a French film directed by two French filmmakers. And the reason that I chose this film is because throughout the whole movie, we're able to see multiple cross cultural concepts. So there's a lot that can be taken in from this film. And some of the ones that stood out to me were the ethnic and hierarchy dilemmas that exist in society. This film does a great job of really showing that and why it is such a big issue. First social dilemma that I'm going to be discussing is ethnic discrimination. So we see this in the beginning of the film with the African American character whose name is Dries. So when he first comes to apply for the position of a caretaker, he goes in with the mentality that he's not going to get the job. And he says that the reason is because he's used to being rejected by other employers. Um, Previously, when he's applied, they give him like some reasoning, whatever it may be, and they tell them that they're just not interested in hiring him. So he expects to just be able to get their signature and collect welfare for his family. However, Philippe, who is the quadriplegic white man, does end up hiring him. They spark a connection right away, and that's what develops the rest of the movie. And another scene where there is some ethnic discrimination shown is when one of Philippe's friends approaches him in a restaurant and basically tells him that his other peers feel that Dries is not, suitable to take care of Philippe due to him previously having served time in prison and basically due to his social status because Idris comes from a low income neighborhood and he doesn't have the same lifestyle that Philippe and his friends do. Some of that I wanted to cover is just hierarchy. So this theme is very present from the get-go because we see the two discrepancies in wealth between Philippe, who is, a very wealthy man who has this huge mansion and has multiple assistants and servants, and it goes over to Dries, who is, someone, like I said, he comes from a low income neighborhood. He lives in a cramped apartment with several siblings and his mother, and it just shows the discrepancy, between the two worlds. And some scenes that go over this are in the beginning when Dries goes to give him a shower. We see that he's used to only having one shampoo for his whole body, whereas Philippe has multiple soaps for different parts of the body, which is a very funny scene. If you do watch the movie, it's one of my favorite scenes because it's very funny to see. And then another scene is when they go to the opera. So this seems to be Idris's first time because when the opera singer comes out in his costume and singing, Idris just bursts out laughing and making faces because he's not used to that type of lifestyle. Like I said, connect these reoccurring themes to society. I have a couple quotes here that reflect on how we experience ethnic discrimination and the presence of social hierarchy nowadays. So this is one quote that says that black men in 2010 relative to white men were 28% less likely to be employed and earned 31% less annually conditionally on employment. So it's obvious that this country has always had an issue with race and ethnicity, and it still does to this day. And that's why I felt that this film was very important to critique because it shows that it doesn't really matter what someone's background is, they can get along equally with people from different cultures and different backgrounds and different lifestyles. And to go to the topic of hierarchy, this quote here says, inherent to the definition of a social hierarchy is the stratified ranking of group members along a valued dimension, with some members being superior or subordinate to others and few members occupying the highest positions. So the concept of hierarchy is one that I totally, I don't believe in because to value somebody status in a society due to their income is not something that really makes sense. And this film does a great job of highlighting that, because we're able to see that towards the end of the film, when Dries goes his own way from Philippe, we see that Dries goes on, even though he doesn't have the money, he goes on, he finds another job, and he connects with his friends and with his siblings, and he's happy. While Philippe, who is the wealthier man, who has, the higher, more fancier lifestyle, actually falls into a bit of a depression and gloom. He lets himself go. He grows out a beard, and gets to the point where he feels he needs Dries back in his life to feel that sort of happiness. It's a overall great film to show that money isn't everything, and that just because people are placed higher to you in the the concept of hierarchy doesn't mean that that's how things really are. To conclude this presentation, I just had two questions to raise to my fellow peers. So the first one being, do you feel that one's financial status defines their characteristics and what they are capable of? And my second question would be, what kind of social structure should this country have if we choose not to prioritize wealth? Or should we even have a societal structure at all, This is, like I said, it's a French film, but the concept of hierarchy and, the importance of wealth is something that applies to this country too. And that's why I feel that these questions are important, and I would like to hear you guys' answers. So, yeah, thank you guys very much.